Copy 724, roger. Descend and maintain 2000.
Descend and maintain 2000, 74.
Comment 504, descend and maintain 3000. 3000, comment 504.
Hi, I'm Cyrus Sigari with jetAVIVA. I'd like to welcome you here today for an aircraft review on the Cessna Citation CJ1+. We'll start with a thorough pre-flight here on the ground, and then we'll take you up in the air and show you how the speedy little jet does when we're flying. So starting with our pre-flight, we'll come up to the door. The door on the CJ1+ is very simple to use by simply moving this handle like so, pull back on the door, wait till it clicks. That's where the wind lock is. So in case you're on this side and there's wind coming, the door doesn't close on you. The CJ1+ in this particular airplane is equipped with the Encore style steps. What that means is you can go like this. The hydraulic system in the steps prevents it from slamming and opens up nicely for your passengers to board the aircraft. This is an optional feature on the OnePlus, and it's relatively highly desirable. Moving over to the nose of the airplane, let's talk about the windscreen. CJ1+ has got a windscreen that's protected using engine bleed air from icing. So in icing conditions, you turn the bleed air on, and that hot air shoots over the windscreen and melts any ice, or really prevents ice from forming in the first place. In addition to the anti-ice system, we also have a backup alcohol-based system. And if you look up here, you'll see we've got these little black nozzles which are used to disperse the alcohol when the switch is flipped. Having flown CJs for a number of years, I've never had to use the backup system. The primary system has worked perfect for me every time. Let's take a look at the nose baggage door. We've got storage up here in the nose. Pop this open like so. And plenty of room in the nose for baggage and golf clubs, whatever it may be. And we can also get to it from the other side. And to lock the nose baggage door, latch 1, latch 2, and then you take the key, and it's locked. Moving to the nose, we've got our first pitot probe that's electrically heated on the left-hand side of the nose. Make sure there's no blockages. Moving over to the nose cone is where we have the radar, protected by the radome, and the lightning diverter strips. Great radar system, works every time I've used it, and depend on it when flying through inclement weather. As we move over to the right-hand side of the airplane, we've got the second pitot probe, which powers the right-hand side of the cockpit. That's also electrically heated and gives us our dynamic pressure that ultimately turns into airspeed. We'll check the right-hand baggage door in the nose. There's a few differences on this side as opposed to the other side, primarily in that we've got a few gauges that we like to double check to make sure our systems are in good shape. So we've got the windshield alcohol fluid, it's in the right place. We've got the gear and brake emergency pneumatic pressure, make sure it's in the green zone there. We've got the power brake accumulator charge, which once we turn power on the airplane would go in the green, and then our hydraulic fluid level for our brake system shows to be full. So we're in good shape there. We can go ahead and latch up the nose baggage door. And that is that. Okay, moving over to the aft part of the airplane, we've got our angle of attack probe on the right-hand side of the fuselage. Now this gives us two pieces of information on the cockpit. We actually have an angle of attack meter on the left-hand side of the cockpit in front of the primary pilot. And then in addition, we've got the green donut on the airspeed indicator, which provides both pilots with information about the aircraft's proximity to CL max and ultimately 1.3 of its stall speed, independent of the configuration the airplane's in, being weight, bank, temperature, altitude. All that's independent, provides really good information so that you know that you don't fly the airplane too slow. Really depend on that when we're flying around. When the Cessna engineers designed the CJ series, they really thought about who their customer was, which was the owner pilot primarily. And such, they created a wing that provides very good docile handling performance in the terminal environment. One of my favorite things about the airplane is how easy it is to control in and around the airport at high altitude, and I can attribute a lot of that to the way they designed the wing. Moving forward on the leading edge of the wing, we've got these beautiful polished leading edges which are used for the anti-ice system, which is also powered by the engine bleed air, and that goes all the way out to the wingtip and also on the engines, which we'll talk about shortly. In terms of fuel, there are two fuel caps, one on this side, one on the other, and you can put 238 gallons of fuel. Gives you a range of about 1,300 nautical miles with standard NBAA IFR reserves. Moving on the trailing edge of the wing, of course, we've got our ailerons. We want to make sure they're in good working order. And then moving over to the flap, we've got four positions for the flap. We've got up, takeoff approach, which is where the flaps are today, and then landing, and then ground flap. In the ground flap position, the flaps go to a significantly aggressive flap angle to provide lift dump once you're on the ground, and really helps slow the airplane down quickly once you touch down. And that's accomplished by moving the flap lever into the ground position. We also have a double-sided speed brake right on top of the wing, and that's controlled through a switch in the cockpit. Let's talk about the engines on the CJ1 Plus. It's powered by the FJ44-18P FADEC controlled engines built by Williams International. The FJ44 line of engines have without question been the most successful of the light jet engines in production today. These are FADEC powered motors, which means as a pilot you got a lot less to worry about with respect to power settings. The airplane engine computers know the temperature, altitude, speed that the airplane's flying at, and automatically make the right adjustments to ensure that you get the power that you're looking for out of these beautiful motors. Now that we've talked about the motors, let's talk about the empennage of the aircraft and the tail feathers. Conventional T-tail on the CJ1 Plus, that's been consistent through entire CJ line. The leading edge of the horizontal stabilizer is protected by anti-ice, or rather de-ice, pneumatic boots, which are controlled by a little toggle switch in the cockpit. But beyond that, there's really not much more to check other than to make sure that when the airplane has been put into a hangar or pulled out of a hangar, that there's been no hangar rash or any of the static wicks haven't gone missing. Now let's talk about the aft baggage area on the CJ1 Plus. It's accessed underneath the left-hand engine by these two latches, and once we get under here, we pop the latches open like so, and that gives us access to lots of baggage space to put whatever it may be that you're taking with you while you're traveling. A few areas in the back of the airplane that we check as well. We've got some circuit breakers and as well as our fire extinguishing system that we can test before we hop in the jet and fly. And then latch it up like so, and we're done. The CJ1 Plus is a great performing airplane when it comes to takeoff and landing distances. Particularly on the landing side, you'll find that the CJ1 Plus has got the capability to stop on a dime, primarily driven by the landing gear design and the anti-skid system. Why don't you join me down below and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So as you see, the CJ1 Plus and the entire CJ line has got trailing link landing gear. And once the airplane's in the air, that primary trailing link will extend close to almost 2 feet. It gives you a lot of compression room when you touch down to make sure that when you do touch down, it's a soft landing. But then once you're on the ground, you've got these big powerful brakes that'll stop the airplane on the dime. The CJ1 Plus does not require thrust reversers. It can stop without them and does a pretty damn good job of doing so. Thanks for joining us for the aircraft review of the Cessna Citation CJ1 Plus. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to call. We enjoy talking about them as much as we do flying them. Thanks and have a great day.